to a bogus Khilafat State. I've taken a lot of your time today, I know it. But I've not exhausted the subject. What I have done is to show, number one, that our sons in Afghanistan, our brothers in Afghanistan, have delivered to the world a spectacular demonstration of evidence that Islam is not in a museum. It is not a spent force. That Islam is not only still alive, but it has the capacity to resist the most powerful civilization in the world. And that's bad news for Israel. What I've done today is to show compelling evidence that modern Western civilization is in decline, that Pax Americana is in decline. I showed you evidence from Venezuela, I showed you Crimea, I showed you Syria, and then I went to Afghanistan. I then turned to say to you that what is happening in Afghanistan is validating the prophecy of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, that a Muslim army is destined to come out of Afghanistan, of Khorasan, and no one will be able to stop it until it reaches Jerusalem. I then went on to tell you about my own relationship with the Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan 25 years ago when I was in New York, and I was specializing in Islam and international relations. After that I went to eschatology, and since then it had been eschatology, but at that time it was Islam and international relations. And how the Islamic Emirate in Afghanistan differed with me on two very important issues pertaining to how should a Khilafat state function. Number one was membership in the United Nations, and hence membership in the International Monetary Fund, and therefore membership in the, you remember, World Health Organization, virus, vaccine. Huh? Every order they give you got to obey. You know, if governments were to vanish, there'd be no virus. And there'd be no vaccine. It's only because of governments. It's only because of governments that the virus exists and the vaccine exists, really. And of course, there is a possibility that they are manufacturing in laboratories, and therefore they can bring out more and more dangerous viruses. I then went on to point out how the Darul Uloom at that time could not produce the scholarship to guide Kabul properly, and Kabul made mistakes. And we don't know whether in 25 years the Darul Uloom has been able to produce better scholars in Afghanistan. That is a different thinking now, that the scholarship now that was not there 25 years ago. And then we ended by pointing out that without that scholarship you cannot establish a Khilafat state. So your Emirate will not qualify as a Khilafat state. We spoke about the role of the Quran and truth. We spoke about the substance of the Khilafat state and the form, differing because of Sharia, but the substance is the Quran. And if you don't have even the methodology for study the Quran, how can you derive from the Quran that which should explain the reality of the world today? And the Darul Uloom has failed. We spoke about the last shower of rain, and we say while the last shower of military rain is coming from there, the last shower of scholarly rain is not coming from there. It's coming from here, from the young ones in Pakistan. And so Afghanistan will have to learn. Afghanistan will have to humble itself and seek knowledge. And if you do not seek knowledge, if you remain with the arrogance of the Darul Uloom, that we have all the knowledge, we don't need to learn from you, then the warning was, this is not 25 years ago. Today everybody have a smartphone with we can take photographs. And every single mistake that you make, once your emirate is established, will be broadcast all over the world. And you will become the laughing stock of all of mankind. And I proceeded to show where you're going to have your great trials, namely, number one, your conception of an international order, but more importantly, your economy. And finally, your fidelity to the Sunnah of the Prophet, alayhi salatu wasalam. And in this respect, I mentioned many things about women, that this is Islam, and you don't have Islam. We pray that Allah might guide our brothers. I've made no comments on Taliban. I've never mentioned the name Taliban. So don't send me any emails directing me attention, this, that, and the other. The micro-analysis of what is happening in Afghanistan is not my business. I am not a scholar of that. You have scholars in Pakistan who are capable of doing that better than me. I am not the scholar of micro-analysis of what is happening in Pakistan. It's not my business. I'm dealing with macro-analysis, and I'm speaking only in the context of Islam. May Allah grant that Afghanistan may get the knowledge with which to be able to restore a Khilafat state. Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا يا مولانا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. آمين.